Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 31st, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. We've had a good Sunday. We've had a fun day. But I'm going to go ahead and start off with where we left off yesterday on Saturday. After, we were done recording, I was so tired. After I got everything uploaded, I took a quick nap, about like an hour and a half or so. Then I woke up, got dressed, got right out to Northside, got to see the homies. Overall, had a really good time. It was nice. It wasn't like super busy though. At like our main spot that we usually kind of wind up before we go to like a little cash bar, a little dive bar situation. Excuse me. There was some bands playing, and it kind of worked out. Well, really worked out because even though we weren't like seeing any of the bands, we were just hanging out. One of my Facebook friends that I really hadn't seen before. We kind of interact in the same circles and whatnot. I got to actually link up with them. It was a very impromptu thing, and that was very fun, very cool. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Before that, we did stop and we ate some food. Classic chameleon situation. I got my standard 3 slices. I got my veggie, which was a mushroom situation. It was really good. I don't remember the exact ingredients, toppings, or whatever on each of them, but it was like mushroom, 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 pretty much. And it had some kind of pesto or something on it that was also mushroomy. It was very good. Then I got the Bianca, which for the life of me, I could not recall what was on that, but it was yummy. It was very good. And then also I got a sliced pepperoni. Then I also got I actually got a few things. I got a thing of fries. Wound up eating most of my friend's chicken Caesar salad, which was very yummy. It was like loaded with chicken, almost like too much chicken, but I mean, I managed. And then I also had gotten a drink. It was a blonde ale. I think it was called Left Hand Zesty. It was very interesting drink in terms of like the presentation, just in terms of the name. I mean, overall though, it was just like a blonde stout ale. But I wound up not loving it just because I guess when I expect a blonde ale, I expect it to be, I don't know, like either weedier, light, sure, but just not the way this was. This was almost like a lemonade situation. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this kind of tastes like pee pee. But overall, though, it was good. I finished it, I got it down. But there was a blonde ale that I did wind up drinking at the end of the night. Now I'm skipping further ahead. That was it almost tasted like chocolate chip cookies, and that was more my speed. I think it was called Street Side. I didn't really recall it. My friend had gave me one of them, and I was like, "Oh, this is yummy. This is real good." But yeah, so after we hung out, we did our thing. We went to our little cash bar situation. That was fun, good times. Got to see some more friends, so that was cool. Then we reconnoiter at the HQ. We hang out for a bit, and I had some rye bread with one slice had butter, the other slice had was it strawberry cream cheese, and then I had the diabolical idea of putting shredded cheese on both, and that came up pretty good. I enjoyed it. I mean, I had no complaints. But yeah, overall, it was a fun night. It was a yummy night. I had a good time. I did wake up though, like before I was going home. I woke up like really early, and I was like, oh, my stomach doesn't feel good, and I just really wanted to get home. So I got home, tried to tend to that, and passed out for like a really long time afterwards. Like I just took another long rest, and I didn't get up until I want to say about like 1 o'clock ish. I'm finally out the door again. So now we're in Sunday, and I go to the grocery store. I'm able to get all of my groceries, and I'm sure I've had this conversation before. I'm sure I've made this point. of I'm blowing so much money on like snacks now. Like that ever since I've really switched my diet to doing chicken and rice, I've noticed now what has really become the thing that blows out my budget is just how much, like, I just love nuts. Like, just real shit, no pause, I just love nuts so good. I love the pralines, I love the coconut macadamia almonds I get. I love the chocolate covered cashews, and then I have the trail mix and some granola. I put that in a little 1 cup bowl, and I just be, I love it. It's so good. Then I also get snack chips for work. So overall, like, I just, that's a become such a core part of my budget for better or worse. So I had to stock up on all that. That was mostly what I feel like I bought today. But that, some energy drinks, some chicken, some salad mix, stuff like that. But yeah, overall though, the grocery haul was solid. It was good. I kept it like under $100, just barely. So that was kind of nice. There you go. We love that, I guess. But then after that, we went to the gym. Gym was good. It was a solid lifting day, solid cardio day. I lifted heavy, but not as heavy. So that was good. I'm still, nursing my back, still hoping that, hopefully by next week we'll be feeling back to like 100%, though I'm not feeling too bad. Just a bit of soreness. But overall, though, like I said, good session. Really liked it. And, that's been my day so far. We're closing it out now with some podcasting. And then after that, I'll probably, if I'm being honest, behind the scenes, I would love to take a nap. I would love to take a nap because, I'm tired and I don't have to go to work. And I get to go to work an hour later. I am going to work tomorrow. Spoilers. But, yeah. We'll see. If not, I should actually cook and do some other like house errand stuff, but house chore stuff, I should say. But we'll see. We'll see. See where the night takes me post the podcast. I'm sure I'll be yapping about it tomorrow. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and we'll get into the news. All right. Our first story comes from France 24. Leading Ukrainian statesman and Maidan protest leader assassinated in Ukraine. A former Ukrainian Speaker of Parliament, who is a leading figure in the country's pro-European protest movements in 2004 and 2014, was shot dead on Saturday in western Ukraine, officials said. Andriy Parubiy, 54, who also previously served as Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, was killed in the city of Lviv. President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned it as a horrific murder and said all necessary forces and means would be used in the investigation. Unfortunately, the crime was carefully planned, he said on social media. Police are still searching for the shooter. Prosecutors have opened a murder probe, but have not mentioned any possible motives. An unidentified man fired several shots at the politician, killing Andriy Parubiy on the spot, the prosecutor general's office said. Ukraine's public broadcaster Suspleen cited anonymous sources saying the shooter was dressed as a delivery rider and was on an electric bike. Photos purporting to show the crime scene were published by Ukrainian media, but their authenticity could not be independently verified. So yeah, there's more details at hand here. They do go into, more of Parubiy's history. Also, it's crazy. This wasn't the first time there was an assassination attempt on him. And obviously, this is more recent, but apparently there was a situation where a grenade was involved. And that was during the Maidan protests in 2014. So, I mean, I really can't imagine the stress, of having to go through that, the trauma of having to endure that, and knowing that there's like a price on your head because you're trying to, do the right thing for yourself, your countrymen, your country. And, to have to go out like that is very sad. It's very unfortunate. So condolences, to him, to the family. Definitely will be coming back here if we, find out any more details from this, the origins of the shooter, if they catch him or them. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go from there. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our next story from People. 29 injured, 13 hospitalized after tractor trailer causes chain reaction collision with 18 vehicles on a Florida highway. More than 24 people were hurt in a chain reaction collision involving 18 vehicles on Florida's Interstate 95 in Miami-Dade. Florida Highway Patrol, or FHP, officials said the incident, which injured 29 people, including 13 who were hospitalized, happened at around 11:25 p.m. on Thursday, August 28th, in the southbound lanes of I-95 near Ives Dairy Road, according to NBC Miami, Local 10 News, and the Miami Herald. A tractor trailer that was traveling southbound on I-95 failed to stop and crashed into vehicles in traffic, FHP Lieutenant Alex Camacho told Local 10 News. As a result, the tractor trailer collided into several vehicles, causing a chain reaction of crashes. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue told NBC Miami that there were 29 people that received treatment as a result of the crash, including 13 who were transported to nearby hospitals for their injuries. One adult was admitted to the hospital as a trauma alert patient, NBC reported. 9 adults and 3 children were also hospitalized. Camacho told Local 10 News that some of the people involved in the crash were admitted at HCA Florida Aventura Hospital with minor injuries. The 16 other people were assessed at the site but did not need additional medical care, per NBC News. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. Usually when there is a traffic accident like of this nature, this big, I just feel a little bit more compelled to kind of talk about it, highlight it. I don't really have any details in terms of what was said, that they failed to stop, the tractor trailer or what have you. But if there are any more details, we will come back to it. But yeah, go ahead and we'll hit the next one. Boop to boop. From ABC News. Australian government signs deal to deport former detainees to tiny island country of Nauru. Australia and Nauru signed an agreement on Friday to allow the Australian government to deport formerly detained people without valid visas to the tiny island nation, the Australian Associated Press reported. Under the Memorandum of Understanding, Australia will pay Nauru $408 million Australian dollars, or $267 million. That's American USD. Up front, once the first people arrive, followed by 70 million Australian dollars, or 46 million USD, annually for the resettlement. The move is being slammed by refugee advocates, some of whom say the deal could open the door to mass deportations without notice. Human rights organizations have protested deportations to Nauru since a report by the United Nations found systematic violations of the International Convention Against Torture. Tony Burke, Australia's Home Affairs Minister, said in a statement that the memorandum contains undertakings for the proper treatment and long-term residence of people who have no legal right to stay in Australia to be received in Nauru. The two countries struck a deal in February to allow Australia to deport 3 violent criminals to Nauru. They were granted 30-year visas. An Australian High Court decision in 2023 overturned the government's policy of indefinite detention for immigrants who could neither get a visa, in some cases because of criminal conduct, nor be deported because they would face persecution or harm in their home countries. More than 200 immigrants have been released from detention as a result of the case. Some were charged with further offenses after their release. Burke said the Nauru deal would target this group. Anyone who doesn't have a visa should leave the country, he said. This is a fundamental element of a functioning visa system. Now, this is all, sadly, part of the course for a lot of countries. At least, that we've talked about, we've covered on the podcast. I think the shocker here, the disappointment here, is that from this government body, this is supposed to be like a labor party. They're supposed to be more democratic, more progressive, more liberal, whatever the fuck you want to use, whatever wording. And it's wild for them to say, yeah, we're totally that, but we can't have these people. They don't have a visa. We don't know where else to put them. So we're just gonna do a plan that you would scoff if like a Donald Trump or if the Trump administration did it. They're trying to send um, migrants and people to completely other places where they're not their home country, and it's just, hey, this gets them out of our hair, out of our hands, and we'll pay this country to do it. UK has tried this before, under the Tories. So it's just crazy to see Australia do it once again under the guise of being a progressive party and saying, "Oh yeah, no, this is totally on the level. This is totally fine." They just once again, they just shouldn't be here. Like, So it's definitely icky. It's definitely unfortunate to see them move this way. But, should I be surprised? No, I shouldn't. But yeah, we'll leave that there for now. And then I'm going to cover something a little bit lighter, coming out of Missouri. That's going to be our last story. But this is AB7 Eyewitness News. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and then we'll close it out with a little bit of a Kohl's Cash scam. Actually, this is a random aside, but a bit of a snack corner. I got a pack of Trolley sour worms the other day, and they're these two-tone. I think they're called electric crawlers. They're supposed to be like, I feel like they're supposed to be super sour or just really sour. And overall though, they're really good. If you like a trolley worm, they deliver on every front. Um, I feel like that's a nice thing about trolleys is like, despite the variations, they keep a good like baseline. They stay pretty consistent, which I enjoy. Actually, my favorite trolley is the octopus, the octopi. I love the trolley octopus. They're my favorite. I don't know. I just like the flavor assortment of them, and I don't know. There's like a little octopus, and you eat them like, oh. Anyway, okay. Back to the news. St. Louis man convicted of stealing 200K through Kohl's Cash scheme. A St. Louis man was convicted of using Kohl's Cash coupons to steal more than $200,000 worth of merchandise from the store. Prosecutors say Marshall Lampkin devised a method to spend Kohl's Cash twice without the company noticing. They said he first used a coupon in the store and then immediately used that same coupon online before the first transaction made its way through the system. Lampkin then returned the items he purchased in the store for a refund in Kohl's Cash so he could repeat the scam all over again, a Department of Justice press release noted, citing evidence and testimony shown in court. As for the items he purchased online, Lampkin had the packages shipped to storage units in St. Louis and had a relative's house in Illinois, officials said. He would then sell the merchandise, which included flooring, furniture, small appliances, and other items on Facebook Marketplace. You gotta love the FB Marketplace. It is alive. It is thriving. It is the digital bazaar of the people. You know what I mean? But hey, actually, I've definitely bought at least one car off of there. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, anyway, that's an aside. Prosecutors said this happened more than 100 times in 2021 and 2022 at 40 different Kohl's stores across 13 states. After a 2-day trial, Lampkin was convicted on all 5 counts of mail fraud. The jury took less than 10 minutes to reach the verdict. Lampkin is set to be sentenced in December. So, I mean, hey, if we remember or we hear any update around that time, we'll be back on the story. I don't know. I heard the story on ABC Start Here, and I was like, damn, that's y'all know I love a good fraud. I love a good scheme scam. So I was plugged in, and it's from my birth state, so you know what I mean. I had to go ahead and just tune in on that and talk about it a little bit. But obviously, don't do this stuff. I think sometimes people can think because they're discovering an exploit or they're hearing about it and they're like, well, this isn't on me. At the end of the day, this is a company loophole. I'm allowed to exploit it. By all means, I am not trying to wag my finger at you and say bad, 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 bad. But legally, companies are going to make sure that they get their recompense and they're going to see you in court one way or another, I would imagine. So you got to be careful. You got to be on your toes. And, a little oopsie daisy here and there. Okay, all right, whatever. But like trying to then completely, run it back, abusing it is just, it's definitely a bad sign of like, oh, I know what's going on here and I'm trying to do a scam. And that will be, used against you in the court of law. But hey, I'm no lawyer. Anyway, that'll be the episode for today. No shilling. It's Sunday. I don't like to do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to September. I'm hoping that I have a good birth month, though I did say, hey, I'm not one of those people like, oh, look at me, it's my birth month. But I do like to have good Septembers. So I'm hoping that that happens. So I'm putting that out into the universe. What can I say? Anyway, that'll be it. That'll be the episode for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.